Most men are not destroyed by their enemies. They are destroyed by themselves. Slowly, quietly, one distraction at a time, one reaction at a time, one person at a time who was never worth it to begin with. And the tragic part? They never even see it happening. Seneca watched this 2,000 years ago in the heart of Rome, the most powerful empire the world had ever seen. He watched men with everything lose everything. Not to war, not to poverty, not to fate, but to their own inability to guard what mattered most: their energy, their attention, their time. He wrote something that most people read and forget. He said, "You act as though you have unlimited time, but time is the one thing being taken from you as we speak." And the question was never how much time you have. The question is what you are feeding with the hours you do have. Because energy is not infinite. It goes somewhere. And if you are not choosing where it goes, someone else is choosing for you. Something else is consuming it. And by the time you realize it, there is nothing left to build with. This is the script most men need to hear. Not because it will comfort them, but because it won't. The first thing strong men never waste their energy on is the need to be understood by people who have already decided who you are. There is a version of you that lives in other people's minds, and it is wrong. It will always be wrong, because people do not see you. They see their own fears, their own insecurities, their own limitations reflected back through you. And no amount of explaining, defending, or proving will ever change that image, because they are not looking at you. They are looking at themselves. Seneca knew this. He spent years trying to be heard by emperors who only wanted servants. He learned, painfully, that some audiences are not worth the performance. The man who needs no one to believe in him before he moves forward is the man who moves furthest. Explanation is energy, and energy spent convincing the unconvincible is energy stolen from everything you are trying to build. Stop explaining yourself to people who don't matter. Let them be wrong about you. Your silence will outlast their opinion. The second thing strong men never waste their energy on is reacting to people who are trying to provoke them. There is a game being played around you every single day, and most people don't know the rules. Someone says something to destabilize you. Someone acts in a way designed to pull you off your foundation. And the moment you react, emotionally, impulsively, visibly, you have handed them your power wrapped in a bow. Seneca called anger the most self-destructive of all emotions, not because it is wrong to feel it, but because the man who cannot control it has already lost before the fight begins. Anger announces weakness. It tells everyone in the room that you can be moved, that you can be used, that your peace has a price, and it is low. The truly dangerous man is not the one who explodes. It is the one who remains completely still, who watches, who does not flinch, who lets the provocation land and simply chooses not to play. When you stop reacting, you become unreadable. When you become unreadable, you become powerful. The third thing strong men never waste their energy on is grieving the version of people they wished existed. This one cuts deep, because it is not about enemies. It is about the people you loved. The friend who disappeared when you stopped being convenient. The partner who showed you a version of themselves that was never real. The family member who chose their comfort over your pain every single time. You cannot mourn a person who never truly existed, and yet most men do. They stay in that grief for years, replaying conversations, looking for the moment things changed, asking why. And Seneca would tell you, the question is not why they changed. The question is why you are still giving your energy to someone who has already shown you exactly who they are. People reveal themselves, not in their words, in their patterns, in what they do when you need them, in who they become when there is nothing left to gain from you. And when someone shows you their truth, believe them the first time, not the 5th, not the 10th, the first.
letting go is not weakness. Holding on to what was never real, that is the real waste.
The fourth thing strong men never waste their energy on is competing with people who are not even on the same path. Comparison is a slow poison. It does not kill quickly, it just quietly hollows you out, until one day you look in the mirror and realize you spent years chasing someone else's definition of success, someone else's idea of what you should look like, earn, own, or become. Seneca lived in a world of immense status competition. Rome rewarded visibility, rank, and political power above almost everything, and he rejected it. Not because he lacked ambition, but because he understood that the man obsessed with being above others has already surrendered his own direction. He is no longer moving towards something, he is only moving against someone. The strongest men are not the ones watching the room to see who they are ahead of. They are the ones who barely notice the room at all, because they are too focused on their own standard, their own work, their own slow and quiet becoming. There is no victory in being the best in a race you never chose to run. The fifth thing strong men never waste their energy on is the noise of people whose lives produce nothing. Every circle has them. The ones who talk loudly about what they are going to do. The ones who have an opinion on every situation but have never built anything. The ones who consume endlessly, content, gossip, other people's suffering, and mistake consumption for participation. Seneca wrote about the crowd with a kind of surgical coldness. He said, avoid the crowd. Not because people are beneath you, but because crowds are contagious. The mood of a room enters you whether you invite it or not. The anxiety of people around you becomes your anxiety. Their smallness shrinks your vision. Their noise drowns your clarity. Strong men are ruthless, not with people, but with their attention. They know that every hour spent in the wrong conversation is an hour taken from the right one. And silence, real silence, is not empty. It is where your best thinking lives. It is where your strongest self is built. Guard what you listen to. Guard who you sit with. What enters you shapes you. The sixth thing strong men never waste their energy on is fearing a future that has not happened yet. This is perhaps the most destructive waste of all, because it is invisible. You can see when you are arguing with someone. You can feel when you are reacting in anger. But anxiety about the future? It runs quietly beneath everything, disguised as planning, disguised as responsibility. But it is not preparation. It is paralysis wearing a productive mask. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And he was right in a way that should shake you. Think about how many nights you have lost to something that never came. How many versions of disaster you constructed in your mind that never materialized. You gave them your sleep, your focus, your best hours, and they gave you nothing in return. The future will ask something of you when it arrives, and you will face it when it does. But the man who lives in the future is absent from the present, and the present is the only place where anything can actually be done. Seneca did not write philosophy for scholars. He wrote letters, raw, urgent, personal, to a friend who was running out of time and did not know it. And in those letters, he said something that has echoed for 2,000 years. He said, "The greatest waste in life is not poverty. It is not failure. It is not loss. The greatest waste is the life that was possible and was never lived, because you spent it reacting, explaining, comparing, grieving, fearing, and listening to people who had nothing real to say." Strong men are not strong because they never feel these things. They are strong because they refuse to be consumed by them. They protect their energy the way other men protect their money, because they understand something most people never will. Your attention is your life. Wherever it goes, that is where your life is being spent. The question is not what you are building. The question is what you are feeding. Choose wisely.
while you still have the hours to choose.